We think folks should begin to think about avoiding large events and assemblies. And we are not making a request formally right now for events to be canceled, but people should be prepared for that possibility.
A team from the CDC is on the ground in Washington state working on the coronavirus outbreak, mainly impacting the west side of the state right now. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on KREM 2 News First at 4. I'm Tom Sherry.
And I'm Whitney Ward. We want to get right to the latest. So here in our area, there are 2 known cases of possible coronavirus. So one is here in Spokane County, a Gonzaga community member being tested right now. Their test results are expected back tomorrow morning at the latest. And one more is in Grant County, another person being tested. The health district there said they were notified about that person just yesterday, and their test results are expected within the next 3 to 5 days. Health officials say it's taking longer right now because of a backlog of tests.
Statewide, 18 people have tested positive, including 6 people who have died from the illness. Nationally, there are 43 cases in 10 states. 17 people remain hospitalized. Today, we're answering your questions about the illness, like what makes it different from the flu and what you should do if you consider traveling.
Our political reporter Casey Decker actually listened to the press conference as Governor Jay Inslee talked just a little bit ago after declaring a state of emergency over the weekend.
So Casey, what did you find out?
Well, guys, the bulk of the press conference was focused on reiterating the same themes we've been hearing for the past week. Don't panic, but take personal responsibility. Basically, everyone needs to do their part to stop the spread of this virus. Now, the governor also spoke, of course, of the ways that he and state leaders are working to contain the virus. Those include expanding the capacity of the lab to test 100 people per day and opening another lab this week. There is now, as you mentioned earlier, a CDC team on the ground in King County. That emergency declaration that we mentioned just a moment ago, that allows the state to streamline coordination and more easily direct state resources to quickly respond to specific emergencies. Inslee has also requested $100 million from the state legislature to respond to coronavirus. That is for this year. He says he expects that will be included in the budget. And of course, he highlighted the ways that individuals can do your part: regular extensive hand washing, no handshaking, sanitize frequently touched surfaces. Also, stay away from places where the virus is already spreading, like nursing homes, even if that means not visiting loved ones. And above all, if you get sick at all, the governor said, follow his lead, stay home from work.
I didn't come to work Wednesday. I had a cough Wednesday. I didn't come to work. And it's hard to do, right? We're all wrapped up in our jobs. Our identity is in our jobs. So it's hard to do, but I can't stress how important that is and why that's sounds kind of weird, but it's a bit of a patriotic act right now.
Now, there are other possibilities they'll be considering going forward, including potentially using the National Guard, and as you've heard earlier, asking for big events to be canceled. But right now, they are not doing that. They're just asking people to get mentally prepared for those more dramatic steps that might come if the scientists and experts say they're needed. In the newsroom, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
Thank you, Casey. President Donald Trump and Vice President Mike Pence met with pharmaceutical executives, all in an effort to speed up the process of getting a coronavirus vaccine.
We're also moving with maximum speed to develop therapies so that we can help people recover as quickly as possible. We have a lot of recovery going on. We want to see if we can advance that.
Now, top government health officials have cautioned that the accelerated process still puts vaccine development about a year to a year and a half out, so not happening immediately. Gonzaga students in Italy are still returning from their study abroad program right now. Leaders advise those students to self-quarantine for 2 weeks once they get back stateside. They are also being asked to monitor their temperature twice a day.
Also, Gonzaga sent an email to students. It reads in part, "The health and welfare of our Gonzaga University students and community members continues to be Gonzaga's #1 priority. As a community, we seek to be supportive of our Gonzaga community members traveling abroad, and we seek to make decisions and provide advice with the aim of doing our part in reducing the spread of COVID-19. Well, the Colville School District was closed today amid coronavirus concerns. Leaders are waiting for the test results for one possibly infected patient.
So they say it could take anywhere between 1 and 3 days to get that back. Administrators did close the schools as a precaution. For now, that means all spring sports, field trips, 0-hour preschool and after-school activities are all canceled. Workers right now are working to disinfect the buildings.
Meanwhile, in Idaho, Troy and Genesee school districts are also closed today. Administrators say Jackson High School students from Snohomish County stayed in the Genesee schools this weekend for a band festival, and they say a student at that school tested positive for the virus. They say the patient was not in Genesee and did not have contact with the band members. Doctors say the patient contracted the virus in Western Washington. Health leaders say the student is at home in isolation and is doing well. Meanwhile, Troy hosted students from Idaho also in attendance at that band festival.
Now, Washington State University is also asking study abroad students in Italy there to come home. It's all part of the university's response to the coronavirus threat. Leaders say they will help those students make travel arrangements. In the meantime, they say that a staff member at WSU Vancouver is now in self-quarantine. They say their family member is being monitored for the virus. They say that faculty member will not return to work until that family member has also been cleared to return to work.
A little bit of good news here. The number of people under public health supervision for coronavirus has dropped significantly over the weekend. Now there are only 231 people under public health supervision. Back on Friday, that number was at 382. But a week ago, it was almost 800 people that were being supervised for the illness. The people are at risk of having been exposed to the virus, and their health is being monitored by public health officials. The number also includes people who have been close to others that have been confirmed to have the coronavirus. So many of you are asking how the coronavirus compares to the seasonal flu.
It's a really good question, and KREM 2's Amanda Rowley breaks down the latest numbers here in the U.S. to explain if one is more dangerous than the other.
As we compare the coronavirus to the common flu, we'll be using the latest data from this afternoon. According to the World Health Organization, there are 62 total confirmed cases of the coronavirus in the United States and 6 deaths. So far, all 6 of those deaths happened in Washington state. As for Washington's confirmed cases, the state health department says there are 18. But how do these numbers compare to the seasonal flu? Nationally, the CDC estimates between 310,000 and 560,000 flu-related hospitalizations and up to 46,000 deaths. In Washington, so far this season, we've had 74 flu-related deaths and 221 hospitalizations in Spokane County. But the key may not be in the number of cases, but the death rate. On average, the seasonal flu kills 0.1% of people who become affected, while this novel coronavirus has a death rate of 1.4%. While the coronavirus is caused by one virus, the flu can be caused by any of several different strains. Both can be passed along in similar ways, but this coronavirus seems to be spreading through the air, meaning tiny droplets from a sneeze or a cough could still be in the air even after an infected person has already left. Right now, there is no known cure or vaccine for the coronavirus. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Well, the World Health Organization says the number of cases of the coronavirus in China is now continuing to drop.
However, there were almost 9 times more cases being reported outside of China than inside.
In the last 24 hours, there were almost 9 times more cases reported outside China than inside China. The epidemics in the Republic of Korea, Italy, Iran, and Japan are our greatest concern.
World health officials arrived in Iran this afternoon to deliver supplies and support for the government.
And spring break is coming up, and a lot of people are worried about their travel plans that may be impacted. The CDC says, though, you don't need to cancel your travel plans within the U.S., but if you are traveling outside of the U.S., you'll need to check to see if there is a travel notice for your destination. So here's where they sit right now. China, Iran, South Korea, and Italy all on a level 3 travel warning. That means you need to avoid all non-essential travel there. Japan is a level 2, meaning high high-risk groups should postpone their travel plans. And in Hong Kong, there is a level 1 notice. That means the risk is low and that travelers should not postpone or cancel plans, but they should certainly take precautions.
Johns Hopkins Center for Systems Science and Engineering has developed this interactive map just to make it easier for you to track the latest coronavirus cases around the world. The map shows confirmed cases as well as how many people have tested positive, died, recovered, and how many existing cases remain. It is a big help for people who are struggling to keep up with all the information that has been floating around the internet.
For continuous coverage of the coronavirus from here in Washington and all around the world, you can text coronavirus to us here at KREM 2. That number is 509-448-2000, and then we will immediately send you a link to our coronavirus page, which is where you will constantly see the updated information and the latest stories that we're working on to make sure and keep you updated. We know it's a lot. It's absolutely what most people are talking about
Yeah, and we
today.
talked about those stories floating around the internet. You have to take those with a grain of salt. Some are factual, some are not factual. So that's why we're trying to do the very best we can to point you to the right links.
Exactly. All right, let's take a break from the coronavirus coverage here. Let's talk a little bit about something that is definitely making people feel a little bit happier, which is it's feeling more and more like spring.
And I think that's healthy because you get to open up the windows in your house and air out the house.
Yes.
Tomorrow we're going to get 55 degrees. It's going to be windy, but we'll still take it. Follow me over here if you will. We'll show you what we've got going on as far as the Doppler radar. We're going to get a little bit of rain moving into the area late this evening and maybe early on in the overnight hours. We've got a little bit of rain, as you can see right now, in north central Washington, but it has been a beautiful day, Sunday and Monday. Absolutely gorgeous. We're at 47 degrees out there, along with the showers and the 55 tomorrow. It is going to be windy, and the winds are starting right now out of the south-southwest at 21 miles per hour, but still nice to see the blue skies. This is what we're expecting over the next 12 hours as far as wind is concerned. This is the computer modeling. You can see it gets windy overnight and again early tomorrow morning, 5 a.m. Winds out of the looks pretty much out of the west or northwest at 34 miles per hour. So your day planner forecast, partly cloudy skies, a few showers late this evening, and overnight we'll look for a low of 38. Partly cloudy tomorrow, warm and windy. We talked about the wind gusts up in excess of 30 miles an hour. We'll look for a daytime high of 55 degrees. All week long we're going to be in the 50s, and then by the time we get to the weekend, we're back to seasonal temperatures. We'll look for a high of 45 on Saturday and 46 on Sunday. Pretty cold Sunday morning too, with an overnight low of 27. Rest of your 7-day forecast minutes away.
Sounds good, Tom. Thank you. Senator Amy Klobuchar is now the latest Democrat to drop out of the presidential race less than 24 hours before Super Tuesday. She's now endorsing Vice President Joe Biden.
14 states and American Samoa will vote tomorrow with more than 1,300 delegates up for grabs. Polls show Sanders leading in the biggest delegate prizes of California and Texas.
There is a massive effort trying to stop Bernie Sanders. The political establishment is coming together, and they will do everything.
Delegates are awarded proportionally, giving the other candidates a shot to slow Sanders' momentum, including Senator Elizabeth Warren, who is leading in her home state of Massachusetts. It will also be the first test of the ballot for former New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg.